Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Behind the Group podcast. I am DJ Keo.
And I am Basil Barrington, and we are back with another film review. Today, we are going to take a look at Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver. This is another, this is part 2, obviously, of the Rebel Moon Part 1. And
Well,
available.
it's part of the same movie. Like
It's part of,
they
okay.
go literally together.
Right, okay.
If
So
you watch the first movie and you watch this together, it just goes right together.
they just didn't want to give us a 4-hour movie, the first one. You know what I'm saying? But man, the reviewers are ripping this joint a new one. 5.2, dude. 5.2.
This is such a weird thing to me because I've seen some movies recently. I saw King Kong and Godzilla, and that movie did not get nearly the hate that this movie's getting. That was an awful movie. I walked out of I saw this in the theater. I walked out of theater like, what the fuck? Like, why did I waste my time watching this stupid movie? This movie's dumb. And I'm like, if the reviewers are consistent, like they would have been like, I can't believe this movie got made. Why is this movie like the director is terrible? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it seems like the hate that this movie's getting is not consistent at all. It's just like everyone's like, it's time to dunk on Zack Snyder, so let's just go. Rather than this is just a popcorn movie to have fun. You watch it on Netflix, it's free because you pay for your subscription. That's all it is. Like I think the movie would be completely different if it was in a box office. You would have to make it different.
Mm-hmm.
But because this is designed for Netflix, it's just hey, what's on Netflix? Oh shoot, there's a Scargiver. Okay, let me check that out. Like that's what it's for.
Yeah.
On 420. Like this is literally
on
what
420.
It's for.
That's when I watched it too. That's the second time I watched it. I watched it on Friday when it came out, Friday late night.
I watched it Friday and I watched it Saturday.
And then I watched the Saturday on 420. As I was enjoying my 420, as I should, And I think I know why. I think I know why people may have been hating on it so much. The movie was like, 2 hours and 5 minutes, 2 hours and 14 minutes long. The first half of the movie, literally the first half, an hour and like 5 minutes, it was all about the stories of the characters, character building.
Yeah, the character building and
that's it.
Sharecropping.
That's it.
Cutting out some green.
Exactly. And I'm just like, and I was watching it and I was just like, can I even get through this? Because in the first 10 minutes, we've been talking about the first 10 minutes. Are they grabbing me? We didn't get anything sort of significant until like the 33-minute mark when they were going back into the different characters' history and they were showing them what they did and everything. That was kind of dope.
It got really interesting.
That was kind of dope though, wasn't it? The way they were bringing it. I was like, and so, that first hour, the first half of the movie where they were doing just basically character building. And then the second half of the movie, dude, they went all in. I mean, it wasn't like, I was telling you offline, it wasn't like the last episode of Kenobi where they gave us the last 10 minutes of action. No, the second half of this movie, it's action like all the way through.
It's an hour war, and I have to say this, and this is not hyperbole. This is some of the best war action I've seen in a movie in a long time.
It's pretty good.
Hands down. Visually was crazy. And it wasn't too much slow motion where it's like, come on, man. It was visually and the stuff that was going on. Because like I was trying to figure out, how are you going to put up a proper fight against the army that's got tanks and soldiers? And they did. And it didn't feel like, this is contrived, this is ridiculous. I was like, oh shoot. All right, I can see that. Because everybody, listen, right? I lived in the South for a little bit. People in the South got guns, man, and they know how to use them.
A lot of them too.
They may be shooting squirrels or whatever, but like if they had to go do something, they could very easily.
Like individual people have many guns in the South. You know what I'm saying? But what was interesting about this was so the dreadnought, this ship, right? That's the second one that was destroyed because in the first part there was one destroyed. Remember?
Yeah.
They're just a dreadnought. So if you remember, just during the Second World War,
There's the big
the
boys, man.
Germans and then like the English had the dreadnoughts. Those are the big boys, right? This
Yeah,
was a
yeah. They
big
had
boy
big
ship,
guns on
dude.
them.
And this is
Yeah.
the second one they destroyed. I like you're right. This sort of battle, this sort of sci-fi battle. The last time I saw something like this was in that episode of Foundation, the second season,
Mhm.
where like all of the Foundation ships like blew up. Remember, all
Mhm.
simultaneously, and like they had that battle,
Yeah.
and I was like, wow, I've never seen like this sort of plot before, right? They
Yeah,
brought
yeah.
in, I mean, and the other thing is this, right? And I was talking to you, we were texting last night, and I was just like, dude, is Zack Snyder and maybe even Netflix just poking like George Lucas in the eye, like, you should have taken this. I told
Yeah, like
you.
Lucasfilm, I think because they added a bunch of different elements and changed things because Star Wars didn't take it.
Mhm.
But like, I do think that if this was a Star Wars movie, it would have brought new life into Star Wars.
Yes.
People would be like, "Oh shoot, Star Wars is back on the map again!" Like, you know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Like, this is the energy, or whatever, would have been, they would have brought. So, because like, as far as I can tell, all the Star Wars that I've seen outside of Bad Batch, because I haven't really watched Bad Batch, but like all the Star Wars I've seen all of the movies, I've seen all the other TV shows, and they're all just a copy of original copy of a copy.
Yeah.
There's nothing new and exciting that's coming out of this stuff.
Mhm.
And so like having a unique story, I think this is great for cinema and for TV and whatever. Like this is great. We need more ideas. And see, here's the thing. If you didn't like the movie, that's fine. This is still great because we need new, fresh ideas.
Yeah,
We want more people making new ideas and coming up with new movies. This is good for everybody. Like regardless of whatever you think about him or Zack Snyder as a director or the movie itself, this is all good stuff here. I want more of this, and I hope Netflix is like, we'll make another Star Wars movie or whatever. Like that's great. Give me
yeah.
more of that.
We need a new sci-fi franchise. Foundation is good. I
Mhm.
love Foundation. I mean, I think the last 2 years I've given Foundation, top sci-fi series, right?
Yeah, but
Um,
like Foundation's
mhm,
political.
right.
We need an
Mhm.
action
There's
sci-fi
some action in
movie
that
show,
joint too, though.
whatever.
You know what I'm saying? For
Yeah,
real.
yeah, yeah. But it's
Hmm.
this mostly political and deep thought, and
Yeah.
which is great. That's why I love it. But
Yeah.
like, it's not designed to be a space battle with lightsabers and robots and whatever. That's not what that's
Right.
for.
They even took the
It's
lightsabers dude from Star Wars and said, George Lucas, you should have taken this. you know,
yeah.
the
The
other
fight was
thing
good. All of the
that,
fights were good.
dude,
I was
listen,
not mad at
man,
anything.
even again, the first half of the movie, which was character building, I'm not even going to call it
Mhm.
walking and talking. I was, when I got 10 minutes, past 10 minutes of the movie,
Mhm.
I was like, whoa, what's going on here? Because
Mhm.
nothing pulled me in. The only thing that kept me watching was that it was part two
Yeah,
of
yeah.
the movie,
I agree
Hmm.
100%. And like I like Zack Snyder as a director, and I've seen all his movies. The first couple minutes, I was just like, all
Yeah.
right, let me just, because like I was watching this at like 3 o'clock because I came back from a gig, and so I was just sitting there, and I turned on the thing. I was like, all right, let me just watch a little bit of it. I'll finish it in the morning, and I was like, oh man, this is gonna be a chore. And then the war started, and I was like, "Oh,
Yes.
okay, all right,
Hmm.
I'm up. I'm fully up right now."
Yeah.
And that was a good hour of war.
Hmm.
It's an hour and 10, 20 minutes of war,
Do
and
you?
I was impressed when the movie was finished. I was like,
That
"Oh,
was pretty dope. But do you think that okay? So they went down to Velt because that's where Cora was. Um,
mhm,
how realistic was it that the villagers defeated like this army? and then obviously in the end
I don't
the
think it's
rebels
realistic at
came, you know.
all.
Yeah, because it's just like because they were showing scenes where, there were like battalions coming after them, like 3-4 different
Bro, they were
battalions.
getting bodied by
Yeah,
those
and I'm just
tanks.
like,
They were
how did
getting
they defeat
bodied.
these people? In
Well, I
the
mean, when the girl she just
mhm,
shot the rocket launcher at one of the tanks, but
yeah,
they took out a lot of people before that.
they took out
And
a
then the
lot of people.
second tank showed up, and General Titus was like, "Ah, damn, here we go again." Like
Yeah.
he looked like, "Oh, this is it. This is it. We're gonna die here."
Mhm.
So, and that's one part of the battle. The other battle was on the ship.
On the
That's
dreadnought.
another part of the
Yeah.
ship, and the other part of the battle was in the hall where the nemesis was getting bodied. Like I thought she was holding her own for a bit. I was like, oh, this is going bad.
Yo,
Uh-oh.
you know what?
And I
That
like that though, but this is the
mhm,
thing. When that battle with her started going south, I was like, oh, where's this going? Because normally she would win and
mhm.
she would get, she'd get touched up a little bit, but it'd be like, all right, this is a flesh wound. I didn't need that part of my body anyway. It's just a liver. Like it's saying, like that's normally what happens in these movies. It's like, I got cut in the spleen, but it'll be all right. Like I don't have to worry about that. Like, no. It was a rough battle. It did not go well,
No,
and
she
that kid
mhm.
basically saved her for an extra couple minutes. And like that was going, it was going south
Yeah,
immediately,
that's it,
and I appreciate him for that because I didn't know where it was going. I didn't think they were going to win. To be honest, I honestly
So
didn't think they were going to win. I thought they were going to lose.
so are we assuming that Nemesis is dead? I mean, is she dead or is she what's up?
Yeah, I think she's done.
Okay,
I think
I
she's done
think she's
for.
dead too, but you just never know. I thought Noble
Yeah,
was
it's
dead.
possible to
You know
come
what I'm
back
saying?
because,
Yeah. Mhm. But
but yeah, I don't think she's going to come back
yeah,
because she don't have the mother world technology.
yeah.
But also,
Um
like Noble, what's his name? Whatever his name is, General
mhm,
Noble
mhm,
or Admiral Noble.
yeah,
He's got elements in his body that's not human. He's got robotic stuff in his body. He's not a regular
yeah.
person. I don't think you can do that just to anybody.
Right. But you know what? And I said this during like the part 1 and I was just like,
Mhm.
dude, this is not a good look. If this
Yeah, I know
villain
you weren't a fan of him in the part
Yeah,
one.
and if this villain is going to constantly get killed and constantly come back, I'm not watching this joint for real because that is a stupid premise. It's just like
Yeah.
villains, I mean, like at some point, a villain has to go, right? And you
Mhm.
cannot continually have this villain like get killed in the most destructive ways. This time his head was cut off.
Yeah, I think he's done. I think he's done. And we were talking about this offline. I don't think he was the main villain for the movie. Because if you think about it, like he didn't how much screen time did he get in this movie? Like fighting or anything? It wasn't that much. The actual battle was the real the star of the show.
Yeah. Mhm.
The battle, all sides of the battle was the star of the show. And we said this offline. I think the Mother World was the villain of the movie. 'Cause if you think about it, when they were inside of the hall and they're drinking and talking, they all told their stories about how evil the Mother World is,
Mhm.
or the power structure in the Mother World
Yeah.
is.
So,
And
mhm.
so yeah, you were looking at it more as there's a bigger battle at play rather than this guy's out to get us. Because this didn't seem like that's what the movie was about. It looked
So
like there's bigger fish to fry here.
I think the the villain, if you're looking at a much larger villain, it's her
Mhm.
adopted father who is the king or whatever,
Yeah,
it's
100%. Yeah.
Belisarius or whatever his name is, right? He's
Mhm.
so obsessed with like having her because I guess she killed the queen or whatever, or the princess or whatever, and it's just like,
Mhm.
okay, but yeah, I just, dude, I hope this villain, Noble, I hope he's done. And
No, he's done. Yeah, I tell you right now,
the
he's
other
done.
thing
He's
that,
done.
well, listen, like the first one, he was killed in a very like weird way too, and he came back. But
Mhm.
she should have took his head, and she should have just like did something with his head, just to make sure, like, you know what?
Just drop
Okay,
kicked
we
it to
now
her.
know he's dead. But if this, if the premise of this of Rebel Moon moving forward is to continually have Noble killed and come back to fight another day. I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling this. I hope this
Well,
is
I
it.
mean, he's got to retrieve the body. The ship blew up. I think they're good. Like they basically have to come
Dude, the
back,
ship
find his
blew right,
body.
but you know what? They just had a little bit of it. Remember, Dreadnought in the first joint was destroyed. But again,
Mhm.
I'm just making a point that it would be a stupid premise moving forward to like always kill his villain, and for this
Mhm.
villain to have the abilities to come back. Now, with that said,
Mhm.
yo, he was kicking some butt when he was in that tunnel.
Yeah,
You saw
yeah.
he was
When he just
where,
dropped down the tunnel,
dude.
I was like, "Oh
Dude,
shoot,
when
here
he
we
did, when I
go."
saw that, I was like, "It's over. Who's ever in this tunnel? It's over." He's, he's an interesting villain because, in part one, they didn't really show his fighting abilities. He would just
Mhm.
like strangle or smack a person. He had something on his hand or something he
Mhm.
used. But this
Yeah, yeah.
time,
He put some work in
yeah,
because
part
he
two,
fought the village dude, the buff village dude with the
y-
beard.
yeah.
I was like, "Oh, where's this going?"
Yeah, for real. So it's just like, wow, okay, so it's pretty cool. But this fight, man, this
Mhm.
is pretty cool, right? And the other thing is, again, just poking George Lucas in the eye.
Mhm.
Guess who came and rescued them in the final part of the battle? The rebels. The rebels. I'm
It
like,
was good. I liked all of this.
Star Wars
I'm
esque as
sorry, man.
anything
I'm a
here,
sucker for this.
Yeah.
This was great.
I'm
It came
into
with the
this.
ships and they got air support. That was it. That's all you needed.
I'm into this universe. That's why, like, again, like I said,
Mhm.
we need really cool sci-fi universes out there. Again, Foundation.
Mhm.
If we can, I mean, like, Star Trek is doing a great job with like bringing that to the forefront with Discovery, Strange New Worlds,
Mhm.
Picard. They're gonna have Section 31 come out. Section 31 is gonna be crazy. Um,
Mhm.
and Star Wars, it seems like what Star Wars is doing is, and they're not doing a very great job at it, they're taking characters from different movies and trying to develop that, like Andor or whatever, right? And
Yeah,
when we
you
were
need
watching
new.
I think it wasn't Andor, I think it was Kenobi. Yes, it was Kenobi, and I was just like,
Mhm.
they brought back the Inquisitors. I was like, that's a TV series right there, the Inquisitors.
Mhm.
They're taking the wrong characters and developing them. It's just like, who wants to know about Kenobi? Kenobi is over. Where are these new people? Oh, and I
Right.
was just gonna say, and I think that with Rebel Moon, this is how they're moving the needle forward, and they're doing it in a really good way. Again,
Mhm.
part two wasn't like crazy dope, but
Mhm.
it was good enough, man, for me to be totally into it. Even the first part of it, I was like, I understand the first part, why you needed that.
Yeah.
And then they came with the second part, and you have to give it to them that the second part was a full hour and 10 minutes of bang bang. I mean, come on, that's pretty dope, right?
That was a great war.
Hmm.
If this is what I can expect out of Rebel Moon series, then yes, sign me up. I want
What do you
more of
think
that.
about the visuals?
Visuals were stunning, man. Stunning. Especially the fight, like the angles and just how he shot the stuff. The fight was
Hmm.
great. I watched the fight twice and I got the same chills watching it the first time I did. And I was tired watching it the first time, but I was up like, oh snap. Like
Hmm.
this is the part. Like, and this is the thing. I want more of this. I want people to be brave and write something that's kind of funky
Right.
and just unique. It's not following all the tropes that everyone's following for all the other stuff,
Hmm.
and just like interesting. Like I like that. So we had it wasn't like a girl boss movie like the women that were fighting, they needed help sometimes, and that's okay. The guys fighting needed help. Like they helped each other equally.
Hmm.
And I like the fact that all the characters had their moment to shine where they got to do their thing. And you see why they were there. Like the who's the girl that had the makeup on and she had like the short hair? Like she did
Oh,
that thing where with the
mm,
rocket launcher, and I was like,
yeah.
"Oh, all right, let's
Yeah,
go.
yes, that was pretty
Let's go."
bad. That was pretty dope,
Yeah, I
though.
was like,
I was like, oh,
yeah, I was just
okay.
saying, like, it wasn't.
Hmm.
I wasn't a big fan of her character before, but like when she told her story about how the mother world came there. I was like, oh, okay, all right,
Mhm.
that's interesting. And then she played a huge part in saving a bunch of people's lives. And she was like, "Yo, I'm willing to." The way she said it when she's sitting at the table, and she's like, I'm ready to fight and die for this because I believe in it." I was like, "All right, that's all you can ask for. Like
That's it.
that's all right."
Like, okay,
I'm
let's
not,
get it.
yeah, I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, I'm invested in you now.
Hmm.
And then you came up and you showed out and you did your thing. I'm like, okay, like there wasn't, there's characters in a movie that you're like, oh, this is annoying, like that little boy, like, and he's playing with the wheat or whatever, and I was like, oh,
Hmm.
this kid's gonna be annoying. This kid saved the day, yo. This kid saved the day when everyone's standing there cowering. This kid jumped on this dude. And I
I
was like, all
think,
right,
listen,
let's
I think,
go.
I think showrunners, I think directors, I think
Mhm.
writers are really watching this channel, and because we talk a lot about screaming kids, no screaming kids, no
No
screaming
screaming
kids.
kids.
This is a
This kid
serious
was out
film.
here mowing down wheat too. He was
This is
working. I was like, all
serious.
right,
This is
good.
a serious
That's right.
film. Why do we have screaming kids? No screaming kids. Now, the other thing is this. What's interesting to me about
Mhm,
Rebel Moon is, so they have the rebels, right?
mhm.
How large are the rebels? I mean, I know that's coming,
I don't know.
you know,
Well,
because the
because I think it's gotta be like, foundation where you got to get some plans together and get some people together and have
well,
a cause. Because like
mhm,
having a dreadnought blow up on your planet, that is gonna open some eyes at some bars down on the other side of the planet. Like
yeah,
they have to be like, oh, okay,
mhm,
it's just about to get mad real over here, so let's join up. Like whatever. There's got to be some other species that's like, yo, we gotta join up. Let's do something.
yeah, man. She's got
So
Cora. Cora has balls of fire because, dude, she was like, "I'm going on the dreadnought and I'm going to destroy it. I'm going
that's
on the
another thing.
dreadnought." Hmm.
Listen, when Cora was with that dude, I forgot the dude's name.
Gunner, he passed
Uh,
away too.
Gunner.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. When Cora was with Gunner and they went to go see Noble, and then she was like, "I'm gonna sell everybody out. Maybe this will save them." I was like, "Oh, where's this going?"
Hmm.
Because I didn't think that she would do that. She immediately was like, "Yeah, all right, I'll sell everybody out. All right, let's go." And that's a curveball. And it's Gunner that was the one that shot the bell. That was like, "Yo, we're going. I don't care what this league says."
Yeah,
Like, we sat here for 4 days and got all this grain on here and set all these booby traps. We're going. Like
it
he was
it
like,
was
"We're
it was
doing this."
Gunner who shot the bell. He took,
Mhm.
when they hugged, he took her gun. He shot the bell. He was like, "No, no, no." It was also Gunner who stabbed Noble, and then
Yes,
Cora
yes.
came in and like
But
sliced his head off.
but this is what I'm saying is that there's people like it wasn't just like girl boss or the super guy that was doing everything by himself and he
Right.
need anybody's help. Everybody, it was a function of I can't do this alone. We have to work together. That was the only way they got this far into this movie.
Yeah.
And I like that. That I enjoy I hate watching movies and like I like John Wick, but like come on, man. Like somebody would have shot John Wick already. Like, come on, man.
It's
What
like,
are we
it's
saying
this
here?
guy dodging
I
bullets
enjoy
and
all
whatnot.
4 John Wick movies. I'm a huge
Mhm.
fan of. I bought the Blu-rays, all right? But somebody would have shot that guy. He would have never made it
Yeah.
all 4 movies.
Exactly.
Like if
It's
we're
just
being
like, come on.
realistic.
There's no one
So
on a roof or
when
something looking out a window with a gun or something
dude, he
ready
fell
to shoot
off
this
of
fool.
like a 5-story building and survived. I'm like, come on, bro. Like, come on. What are you doing here? I enjoyed it anyway, but I'm just
Walk
saying.
up, break.
But
He
like,
got up break
uh,
dancing and whatnot after like, falling 5 floors.
yeah. But I'm saying, like, if I'm watching a movie where there's not a girl boss, there's not a guy boss, there's everybody's like surviving basically.
Mhm.
Cause like Cora is not that great of a fighter. She's okay, but she didn't beat Noble twice because of her great fighting skills. She got lucky both
Yeah.
times.
Mhm.
And I like that. I like that aspect of barely surviving and just getting through on like just the edge of luck that something fell your way. I like that because Like, this is not realistic, all right? This is silly talk
Yeah.
that the villages were they would have shot the villages from the dreadnought in space and be like, we'll just go another planet and get some grain somewhere else. Like, it's
Well,
fine.
that's
Let
exactly
me
what
just
they
do it.
decided to do. I mean, like he basically they activated
Mhm.
the dreadnought guns, and one shot would have just blew up the entire village.
Yeah. But this is another thing that I like. The
Hmm.
villains were competent. He was like, "What are we playing footsie for? Like, just shoot the village.
Hmm.
She's on the ship. We got the person we wanted anyway. We just got to rile
Right.
her up and we're good
Hmm.
to go. Shoot the villages. What
And
are
we
we
got
waiting
what we
for?"
want. I mean, I'll
Yeah,
bring her back to the
exactly.
king, dead or alive. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but that's logical. A bad guy would do that. A bad
Yeah.
guy wouldn't be like, "We gotta go get the grain too. Let's not really go." And all of the henchmen were like, "Oh, we gotta shoot the village. All right, we're shooting the village now." Like,
Well,
this
but
was
you
like
know
that's their
what?
job.
But you know what? His right hand man,
His
he
right
was
hand man was kind of like, "What the hell are
was like,
we
well,
doing?"
we do have men down there. He was like, so what? That means we'll have more food. It's just like,
Yeah,
wow, okay,
but this is all logical, competent things that people
yeah.
would be saying.
Hmm.
They would be like, "Yo, we got 50 soldiers down there and some tanks. We're gonna blow that stuff up. Let's get our tanks back, and then we'll blow it up. Whatever. Save the soldiers down there." Like, this is the logical things to say. And for him to be like, "Well, let's blow up the village." Like, that's a logical thing to say. This is all logical. I'm not mad at any of the actions that the bad guys took in this movie. I'm not mad at any of that. It all made sense.
Why do you think thus far with 12,000 reviews in from IMDb, we're talking about
Mhm.
IMDb, with a 5.2 rating? Why do you think about what do you think about the low rating? Why is it so low? It is below a 7.
It Here's the thing, all right?
Hmm.
If this movie was directed by anybody else, I would say this movie would get like a 7.5 or
Hmm.
like a 6.9 or something
Oh,
like
is
that.
there Zach hate out there?
Yeah, it's beyond logic. Basically, his hate from the movie reviewers is because he made this movie called Sucker Punch in 2014, 2013,
Hmm.
before he made Man of Steel.
Hmm.
He made this movie called Sucker Punch, and they hate that movie because it's got really pretty girls fighting, but that's not the point of the movie. The point of the movie went over everybody's head just like this.
Hmm.
And if you didn't really watch it and figure out what the hell the movie was about, the movie is about how you view all this stuff. But like he did an interview about it. He's explaining what he really was talking about, whatever. But like the reviewers hate this guy's guts because of that. Like that's it. It's one movie,
Wow.
and it's just that's the reason why all the Zack Snyder hate's going on. The
Well,
fans
mhm.
hate him because of Batman versus Superman. So this
It's
is
just
two
like
different movies,
it's
but
only
those are the
art,
two
dude.
reasons why.
If you go, if
There's
you
no overlap. It's just dumb.
if you walk into an art gallery because you want to buy a piece of art, and none of
Mhm.
it on the walls are to your liking, you just walk away. That's it.
You would just be like, I'm not gonna watch
I'm
this.
not gonna buy. I'm not
Right?
gonna buy this piece.
You
There's
wouldn't
nothing
review
here
a
that I like. I'm
movie.
not gonna buy it. You know?
Yeah, I'm just saying you wouldn't review a movie because you hate. Like, 'cause a lot of people reviewed the movie because they hate him for whatever reason,
Yeah.
and I'm like, this don't make any sense. Like, it's illogical. Like, I was following this stuff from when it happened, and I was like, yo, this is illogical.
Yeah.
Why
It
would
really
you
is.
hate a guy like you? I would like I look at movies where the guy that directed Godfather. Like, he's got movies I like and movies I don't like. It's a movie by movie basis for me. There's some stuff I don't like. Like, I wasn't a big fan of Sucker Punch, but I get what he's trying to do in the movie. But to be like, I hate you forever, that's stupid. That's so dumb.
I'm
And the
never
thing
gonna
is
watch
too,
anything you did or you've done in the future, past, whatever. Never. I'm not watching anything
yes.
else.
I don't
Okay,
I
he's
don't
still getting
understand that
paid.
logic.
Hmm.
That's baffling to me. It makes no sense. Like,
You
that's
know,
completely
it's
babbling.
it is,
There's
but it
people
isn't.
upset with
Hmm.
him because his Superman isn't wearing underwear, like red under tights. That's an actual thing. I didn't
Really?
make that up. That is an actual. People
Okay,
are
see,
on
I'm not
Twitter
that
right
deep
now.
into it.
You can pull up Twitter
Mhm.
right now and find somebody arguing that he denigrated Superman because he doesn't wear red tights like Christopher Reeve Superman. That's a real thing.
Wow.
That's not even. I'm not even making that up. That's a real thing.
It's as silly as the virtual DJ boys, the fanboys, how they just go crazy. It's just
Yes,
like, well,
it's literally
virtual
that.
DJ is not as great as Tractor. Then everyone's having a conniption. It's like, dude, do you use virtual DJ? Yes. Do you like it? Yes. Who cares? You're using it. You like it. It's
Shut the f
fine.
up and enjoy your life. Go
Exactly.
do your
It's
thing.
just
Right?
like we're just like this is just an opinion. You have a piece of software that you like, keep using it. You have certain directors that you like, you have certain movies that you like. Fine. If there's something you don't like, voice your opinion, keep it moving. It's that
Yes.
easy. People
Here,
get
I
like
read.
in
Well,
today's
here's the
social
crazy
media
part.
world, people get so caught up in
Mhm.
again, you've got to take the emotions out of things. It's like when you're reviewing a product, take the emotions
Mhm.
out of it. It's just like you're giving your opinion about something. We give our opinion about like, films and
Yeah.
TV series. Take the emotional part out of it when you're like leaving comments for us, just like, oh, blah, blah, blah,
Mhm.
blah, blah. It wasn't as great as the book. It's just like, no, it's
Like, all
not going to
right,
be as
like,
great as the
it's
book,
cool.
dude. This guy is being creative. He's being an artist. He's putting his own twist on it. Or girl,
Mhm.
whatever, it's just like, give it a
Mhm.
chance, I like
I
the
agree.
I like
I
the how this franchise may turn out. What do you think?
Yes, I think
Mhm.
we said this before. There's so much potential
It's
in the
potential.
ideas that are put on screen.
Yeah.
I want to see more.
Yeah.
Like perfect example of this is the guns. I like that the gun's shooting plasma instead of a laser.
Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah.
Who else has got a gun like that? That's
Yeah.
great. Like it's
That's
just a
it's pretty
simple
dope,
idea
isn't it?
like that is
Hmm.
interesting to me, and it changes how I view this world. Like the space travel, they don't have like faster than light, so travel takes a little bit of time.
Hmm.
That's interesting to me. Like there's little bits about this world that I want to see more of. I'm
Yeah.
cool with it.
The technology is slightly better than Star Wars. It's almost like
Yes,
they're like in one review you said sometimes you don't like the nanotech, right? Because
mhm.
it's just it looks too
It's
clumsy,
like
right?
magic.
Right.
It's like silly.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you look at Star Wars Discovery, right? The
Mhm.
way the nanotech is, I mean, they took it to another level. It's faster, it's
Mhm.
smoother, the whole nine. See, that's what I'm
Mhm.
saying. You have all of the runway, you have the Star Wars, you have the foundations, you have the expanse, you have all this other stuff. See what they're doing, right? And say, okay, you
Mhm.
know what? I want my nanotech in this movie to be slicker, cooler, faster, you know,
Mhm.
and make it better. It's okay to try things and for them not
Mhm.
to land right away. But again, me personally,
Yes.
I would like to see this franchise. I mean, I can see like a over a 5 or 7 year period, a lot of stuff coming out with Rebel Moon. Don't forget,
Well,
we had part one in what, November, September, November, or December.
yeah.
We
It's a
have
couple
part two
months ago.
now, you know?
Yeah, well,
So
but here's the
hopefully we
thing.
get a part three
Rebel
this year
Moon
too.
is a hit.
Yeah.
It's doing very well for Netflix. The
Yeah.
numbers are spectacular.
Hmm.
It's number 1 around the world in all of these countries.
Hmm.
So like it's clearly doing the numbers that they need to justify its existence. So I think the odds are very high that we're going to get more Rebel Moon.
Yeah.
And for people that hate it, that's fine. Don't watch it. That's fine. There's enough people that are watching it that enjoy what's going on here, and like we need this.
Yeah.
We need more ideas because
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
Star Wars is on its last leg.
It's done.
I don't care. I could care less about watching more Star Wars. I went back and watched the first Star Wars, and I was like, this is a delightful movie. And it's got
Delightful.
a little kid in there that's yelling, it's annoying as hell.
You said
But there
delightful.
was an insane lightsaber battle that made it worth every penny. I'm
Hmm.
glad I watched it in the theater. I'm glad I own the Blu-ray, and I'm I had enjoyable feelings when I watched it, right? And that's what I got out of this movie. I watched it 2 times over this weekend, and both times I was like, "This is fun.
Yeah.
This is this is cool. I like the new ideas. I like this world that they're building. I want to see more." And see, this is the thing. Like, if you're like, "Oh, the writing was terrible," oh, okay, you can get another writer. Like, it's not a big deal.
That's it.
But you should be like, your standpoint should be, I didn't like the writing of it. It's kind of silly that the villagers got to put this thing together and got the crops done in 5 days.
Right.
Okay, fine.
Hmm.
That okay, if that's your argument, that's fine. Lots of movies make silly things. John Wick fell off a 5-story building, 5 stories,
Got up and
and got
started
up and
tap
ran
dancing.
away. What the hell
You
are we
know?
talking about here? It's movies. You don't need everything to be exactly logical. It's the future. We don't know how this grain is growing. It's space grain. You don't know anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's
this is not
yeah.
grain from Wichita, Kansas. Like, this is space grain. You don't know how this thing is made.
It's so
This is a
easy.
dumb argument.
It's so easy to, just bash something, on a
Mhm.
subreddit or, in the comments or something like that. It's just like, okay, whatever, It's just like when
Yeah.
people leave comments and they say stupid things, and it's just like sometimes I'll reply back to them like, yo, you know what? I don't agree
I
with that,
sometimes
but
I read it,
yeah.
and
Hmm.
sometimes I'm like, this is
Yeah.
dumb. I don't
Yeah.
care. I don't
Don't even
Why would I
reply
ruin
to
my
it.
day for this?" Like,
Yeah. It's just, it's so weird because sometimes we're gonna wrap this up, but sometimes,
Mhm,
watching YouTube, you see a lot of
mhm.
YouTubers who then come on and say they need to take a break from YouTube
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they let the commenters, they let the people drop comments on their videos and they let that get to their head. It's just like, why are you even like
Yeah.
just delete that comment? Like block that person. It's just like, why are you letting this person get to you? This is like,
Mhm.
and it also depends on what you're covering. If you're covering like messy stuff, you're gonna get messy comments. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's a
Yeah.
fact,
So
100%.
yeah, it's
You run your
100%.
mouth,
Hmm.
and people are gonna respond back to you in kind. And so
Exactly.
this you gotta accept the internet for what it is.
Right. So I don't mind people having opinions about art because that's exactly
Mhm.
how art should
Yeah,
be.
it's subjective.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. But, you know, let's just realize that we may have a nice little franchise on our hands with Rebel Moon. So just keep that
Yes.
in mind,
Like, this is the thing. You what you wanna do is put some topsoil on top of that and pour some water on it. And say, like,
Yep.
constructive criticism. I didn't like that, the things got together too fast, or
Mhm.
I don't know if you should have spent so much time on this character. That's great. That, this stuff, that's useful information. But, like, building something from scratch is hard.
For
It is
real.
really hard, especially something that doesn't have a built-in fan base. It doesn't have years of people loving this thing because somebody else made it, and all you gotta do is just tell more part of the story, and everyone's just gonna love it. Like the what's the show that we just watched with we
The
just
three
reviewed it.
three body problem.
Uh, no, the show with the damn, I'm trying to blank right now.
Is it the
They
last
they're in
review?
the underground. They're in they're in the underground
Oh, oh,
facilities and they
oh,
get
oh,
out.
not Silo, but wait a minute. You're talking about Fallout.
Yes, Fallout. Okay. All right. We're all up to speed here.
Yes.
Fallout has a dedicated fan base and everybody loves this thing, and there's like
Hmm.
20 games or however long many games there are,
Yeah.
and packs and updates and whatever. And it's been going on for decades, right? So when you make the Fallout show and you try and do like a fairly good representation of Fallout, people are gonna love it
Yep.
because the thing's built in.
Yep.
I played a little bit of Fallout. Like, I'm not that great in it, but I did watch it some. So I was like, I'll check this out. Like, Rebel Moon has none of that.
Yeah.
These zero. They had to make brand new characters. They had to make a brand new universe. They had to make brand new spaceships. And brand new lore. You had to do all of this from scratch and steal from all these other movies and TV shows and whatever.
Exactly. Still,
And
exactly.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
that is difficult as hell. And so I commend him for trying to do something like that. Because
Yeah.
who's doing that right now? Nobody.
No one.
Everybody's recreating something that's already
No
out
one.
there,
You
built
know.
on a book. It's
Yeah.
built on a comic
Right.
book. It's
Hmm.
built on a something,
Yeah.
video game.
Hmm.
This is one of the few times you got something brand new from scratch that's got a lot of clever ideas in there. And, maybe it wasn't done specifically exactly how you like it, but I feel at this point in time, we should commend effort and we should encourage effort and we should give like Netflix the idea of at least like, you know what, something brand new is not a bad idea. Let's
I
let's
would.
give that a shot.
Yeah. I want to
We
definitely
have to
give.
keep doing all these comic books and movies
Definitely
all
giving
over
this a
again.
shot here. We are talking
Yeah.
about Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver. Keo, what are you going to rate this?
I give it an 8. I listen. The first 30 minutes, I was like, ugh, where's this going? This is
It's
gonna be a
pretty
tough
tough.
night.
Hmm.
And then once the thing got when they got to after they did all of the setting up and talking whatever, and they sat down, they started telling their backstory. I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right, where's this going?
Hmm.
That to me, that's when the movie picked up, and you kind of you probably could have trimmed down some of that, and
Hmm.
but I'm not a director, so I can't say whatever you need to do a movie properly. But like once they sat down in the bar and they started talking, and I was like, oh, this Titus guy, he's like he's trying to present everybody like he's drinking and he's tough and hard, and this guy's drinking water because he's scared. I was like, oh shoot, this is interesting.
Hmm.
This is really interesting, and everyone's telling their little bits of story, like how they got there, and why they hate the Empire. I'm like, okay, this is interesting, and they all had a rough go of it, and they're here like this is their last stand. This is an interesting movie. I like the themes in it. I like the ideas. The visuals are ridiculous. Like I don't care if you hate Zack Snyder for with his grandmother. You cannot deny the visuals in this movie are crazy.
Pretty dope. Pretty
You
dope.
can't deny that.
Can't deny
And so I'm like, I'm putting all this stuff together. I'm like, I like this. The second time I watched it, I was like, oh, this is a good movie. I like this movie.
Yeah.
And I want to see more. So for me, I give it an 8.
Yeah. I'm also going to give it an 8. If you really think about it, like you said, this is something that is from nothing. So, like you said, this is not from a book. This is not from like a Charles Riddle or something like that. This he had.
Mhm.
You said he had this basically. This has been in the makings for like almost a decade, right?
Yeah, it's like 20
Yeah.
years, 15
So
years or something like that.
this
Yeah.
comes from the head. This comes from him,
Mhm.
right? And he
Mhm.
put it together, tried to sell it to George Lucas. They said no. Netflix came
Mhm.
in, scooped it up. I think this is going to be a really good franchise. I don't know what they're going to do, in terms of branching out, but it
Mhm.
belongs to Netflix, and I think it's really good. Like you said, the visuals are dope. Like you said, the first 30 minutes, I don't know, but even the first 30 minutes, we didn't have any screaming kids. We didn't have any stupid stuff.
I wasn't annoyed at all. I
It
was just
wasn't
watching.
goofy. It was just slow, right?
Mhm.
The
Yeah,
30
yeah.
minute mark is where things started to pick up. I think from the 30-minute mark to the end, banana cakes. Forget
It was
about it.
bananas.
And they gave us
Absolutely.
a 1 hour battle, dude. A 1 hour battle.
Yeah.
A one
Yeah.
hour battle
100%.
on the
That's
on the
right.
screen. Just like have you ever saw a movie where
Mhm.
the battle in that movie is
Mhm.
exactly 1 hour? It lasts an hour. It takes up an hour of the entire
No.
movie. No,
Usually the
exactly.
battle is like 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Exactly.
It was
And then,
onslaught
the flag
of
goes
just
up, everyone
chaos.
kiss, have a beer or whatever, right? So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know
yeah.
where
It's
the
like 10, 20
5.2
minutes.
comes from. I like this movie. I like part 2, The
Mhm.
Scargiver. Um, I'm giving it an 8. Keo's giving it an 8 as well. I don't know where the
Mhm.
5.2 came from. I don't know.
That's some hate, man.
Yeah,
That's some hate.
that's
You know what the
mhm,
funny part is? You have to read some of these reviews.
yeah,
There's reviews talking about Batman. I'm like, what are we doing here? Did you even watch the movie? Like,
you know.
they were like, I gotta review bomb this thing and say how terrible it was. I have to.
Yeah.
That's what we saw. I'm like, this is trash.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. Thanks for checking out another episode of the Behind the Groove podcast. I am Basil Barrington.
I am DJ Keo.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And until next time, peace.
All right.